started.
Okay, hey, good evening, everybody. We're glad you're here. We're glad, and I'm sure a few more people are going to join us. We had a pretty good registration for tonight. Tonight's October 15th, and you can see the number there. And if you do need those numbers or the dates for your webinar for your PDP Premier, you will get them from Demita sends them out. And they're also on the Teacher Resource Center webpage. There's a list of all the dates and numbers, so you can go there and get them. We're glad you're here anyhow, and I'm Gene Colbago.
And I'm Roger Carroll.
And we hope to keep you informed and even slightly amused tonight as we go through some things. We have some information that hopefully you can use, and some sites and some ideas that might prove useful in class or for your personal use too. So with that, maybe we should get started. How's that, Raj?
I think it's a great idea. Go right ahead, and I'll monitor the questions.
Okay, whoops. By the way, I'm going to kill this. I'm going to have to minimize this to get to my, there we go. Hey, first thing that we were going to deal with tonight, and I hope the people join us quickly. There were quite a few people who were interested in this particular topic. One of the big topics these days is the transferring of the New York Learns websites over onto the Blackboard SchoolWires site. And the people who are doing it are finding out that it is incredibly easy, and that this website is, I think, a lot easier and a lot more friendly to work with than the New York Learns, and people are having a good time. And tonight, what we'd like to do is to show you very quickly how easy it is to transfer your New York Learns pages over onto a Blackboard or a SchoolWires website. Okay? A little bit of it will probably have to be a review for some of those you who were with us a couple of weeks ago, or 2 or 3 weeks ago when we did this, and I'm not sure exactly when. And if you weren't with us, it'll serve as a little quick how-to. The first thing that you need before you can even create a website on the New York, on the SchoolWires Blackboard, I'm going to call it Blackboard from now on, website, is you need a user account. And if you don't have one, you can get in touch with either Roger or me, and we can help you get started. Once you have that, you will receive an email, and this email has been causing a little bit of consternation because it will ask you to go in and change your password. And some people think that this is a fraudulent email of some sort. It's not. And if you go in and set up your password, then you will be all set to work on your web page. And there are several ways to do it, but here's probably the fastest way. What we need to do is up on top of, if you open up the district website, this is the district home page. Up on top is where you see a sign in. And if you click that, it'll open up a page. And you can sign in with your username. And this will be sent to you if you don't have one by Roger or me. And the password, you will get an email to help you set up a password. Once that's signed in, it'll look like, whoops, boy, that's interesting. It did that. I don't know why it did that. It should actually take you back right to here again. Okay, but now you'll notice there are some changes. First of all, ignore that. That's something special that I do. Up on top now, you'll see Site Manager and My Account. If you ever need to work on your account by changing your password, your profile, and so forth, you can edit your account settings just by going here, and it will help you to change your information and change your password. What we then recommend is that you go to your school, your particular school. I'm going to go to Niagara Falls High School because I'm here. And then we recommend you go to your teacher web pages at that school. Your name should appear there. If it doesn't, let us know immediately so we can add you. And then click on your name. You will see something different there, just a little welcome page if you haven't done anything with it. But if you have signed in properly, there will be an edit page right here. Okay? No problem. And if you click on edit page, it will take you to the site where you do. If you see a blank page like this takes you to the welcome page or the beginning page. We recommend just click on the purple X, and this will show you probably just the welcome page, or if you've created some pages. And here is where you can create new pages and so forth. And you'll see that I've added a few already. We're going to show you how to add a page and then copy materials from New York Learns tonight very easily. In order to do that, I'm going to go to New York Learns. I'm going to go to, well, let's go here, make it easier. I have here a site, just to pick one out. This is a page that I used for last year's webinars. I probably really don't need this, but it's a good example and it worked beautifully. This is a page that has all of the webinars and the resources that we used last year. If I want to translate this page, transfer this page to my Blackboard or my new web page, it's pretty simple. First of all, I have to create a new page. So I'll click on this little new page, and to create the page, I have to give it a name. 2016, just for right now, 2017 webinars. Okay, and now you have a choice of a variety of pages that you can choose. We recommend, starting out right now, the blank page is probably the one that is the easiest to work with and the one that you can probably have the least trouble with. So I'm going to click a blank page and just save and continue. Now, as it says down in the lower left, success, you've created your page. Now over on the left, you'll see a big blank white area, nothing else, because that's my page. My page is blank. And as we told you before, and if you're new to this page is blank, and what you must do to put material on it is you must add apps. And these apps are over on the right. And for the most part, the app that you will use probably most of the time is a thing called a content app. It's right here. And you just drag it and you'll see a green line open up. Drag it into that area and let it go. And now you have an app and you're ready to work. Okay, you'll find out later as we go along, you can add other things. I think Raj might be talking about some blogs tonight, and he may show you some of that. But once you go here, this is now where you're going to work. Where you say, how do I work? Go highlight that area. You'll see a pencil. Click the pencil. Click the pencil. Why is that? What happened there? Raj. Okay, there we are. You may have to click it twice. Okay, and this is now your work area. It will look very similar to the ones you've done before. Now, my question is, I know how to put in, you can probably figure out how to put in text and pictures and things like that, but I have all of this material over on this website that I want to put on that page. The easiest thing to do, and I'm going to start at the bottom, is to start copying, highlighting, copying all of the text that are all of the material that I want. Text, pictures, everything. So that is done like that. And then I need to copy it. If you are using Chrome, the simplest thing to do, or the best thing to do, is to hold down the Control key and tap the letter C. Control C, that's a copy command. Okay, I've copied the material. Now I can go back to my page, go over here. I'm going to hold Control down, and now I'm going to tap the letter V. That means paste. Control C is copy, Control V is paste. Notice I've copied it all. You'll notice that the text over here is a little bit different, but I can go in there and change it to whatever I want. I'm going to save this now. Okay? And you know what I'm going to do? Just to show you, I'm going to go to a brand new website. I can do it a couple of different ways, but I want to go, why is this so slow? Boy, we're doing slow things tonight. My computer is awfully slow. Boy, I'm so sorry that this is so slow. And here's my web page right here, I hope. And you'll see now that I have 2016, 2017 webinars, and there's my page. I just copied it from New York Learns. It took me about 30 seconds to copy the page. Now, I'll probably want to go back to this page, highlight this stuff. I can center it. To make it bigger, I can click on the little feather here and make it larger. If I want to put in a little bit of color, I can put in a little bit of color. I can do a save again. I've saved it, and I've, created another one. I can then go back and double check. Oh, where did I lost it. Oh, there it is. I can refresh this up, and you'll see that now it looks just about the same way it did on New York Learns. Again, this building a website is very, very easy to do on Blackboard. And you should have no problem. Copy and paste, copy the page, paste it into a page that you've created on your new Blackboard web page, and you should be good to go. And there it is. That's as easy as it is. I mean, you can't really get it much simpler than that. So that's, that's about how hard it is. I don't know if there's any other way of going to great detail to show you. Raj, is there anything that you would like to add with that, or?
Well,
it's that
we're
simple.
almost overcomplicating it. Once you do it, and especially working with what we're suggesting, working with the blank page option and then the content app, everything is pretty much figure-outable, intuitive from the buttons that you're usually mostly familiar with from other programming and whatnot. But it just remember to save as you need to do just about every other instance.
This does not remind you didn't save this. Quite often it'll just close if you just close it.
And there's
without saving.
Unique little thing going on there. When you create a page, you're not asked to save it when you initially create the page, but after that. And that's something you're probably going to learn the hard way from time to time. I still do it myself. Where was that save button, or scroll down, because sometimes the save isn't in the part of the screen that you're looking at. You have to scroll down a little bit, but it never hurts to check that. But it's straightforward, easy. And all the feedback we're getting from different levels of within the district, it makes a much more, I guess in quotes, professional appearance on the district web pages and so on.
We are getting a lot of really good feedback. People who are working with us saying they're so easy to work with. we were at one school and we had set up, what, an hour and a half or 2 hours for teachers to learn how to use it. And they had it down within a half hour, 45 minutes,
Yep.
and were copying and pasting New York Learns. In another school that we were there, while we were there, within about a half an hour, one of the teachers, or several of the teachers actually, had copy and pasted 6 and 7 New York Learns pages from their New York Learns into, you know, their new websites, and had them going beautifully. It copies the picture, it copies the links, it copies the text. You may have to reformat the text, as you saw a little bit, but it's beautiful.
And 99% of it does come over.
Yeah.
Perhaps if, like, there might be something where you maybe included an attachment, a document, or something that you have to do a couple extra steps with to move those over. But by and large, it's a very straightforward process.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about things like that you want to do more, and you can't figure it out, don't hesitate about giving us an email. And those of you who do not have accounts yet, if you are interested, let one of us know. We'll be glad to set you up with a username and set you send you an email so you can set up your password and get you going. Two little things that once you are done working, well, this one is also once you've closed your page. Let me do this. I'm going to open it up. You know, you have the page open, and once you're done, you have to click on that little purple thing to close it to get back to your pages. Up in the top left, and you probably can't see it on my screen, right above your name in the black line up on top is a thing that says view website. If you want to view your website in a different way, you know, I went up here and clicked on it and opened up another, and it took an extra second. You can click on this. Will open up your website and give you a view of what it looks like. Now and then I found out that if you look at that view, maybe a couple of the links won't work or something like that. It kind of gives you a view of the website. Maybe not everything works. So don't get upset if you go there, click on a link, and it doesn't work. Don't get panicky. Go and open it up in a new tab up here. Go to the website and try it, and most likely you'll find out that it is working. Lastly, once you are completely done with your work for the day, over on the right-hand side, there is, and again, it's in that black line, and it's not really noticeable until you highlight it. It'll say sign out. Don't forget to sign out, and then you'll kind of get something that looks like that. I mean, you can then click, I think, on home and go back to your regular site, but you know, the home site and so forth. But don't forget to sign out, and then you'll see the sign in that shows that you've signed out successfully. Really interesting, easy to work with. We are updating. There is on the Teacher Resource Center, our Tech Resources for Teacher site, there is a page that has a document on it about how to create a teacher web page if you're looking for ideas. It does need a little bit of update, and I'm going through that now, trying to update it a little bit. But if you're looking for ideas of what can I put onto my web page, so forth and so on, you might want to take a look at the Teacher Tech Resources for Teachers, and you will find a page there with I think it's about a 7 or 8 page document that will give you some ideas on that. One last thing, Raj, and then I'm going to give it back to you because I know you got some good things, and you can have the rest of the show if you like. Yeah, I'm not even sure where I am. Okay. Okay, I'd like to get to my website. Okay, if you would go to my website, there are a lot, first of all, there are a lot of good things there. Raj will probably talk about some things that he's put there too. But I have a thing that says resources 2017, 2018. I've created a Flipboard for September and October. And there's a lot of great materials in there, and I keep building at them. And one of these days, Raj, we might even be able to get to them. But there was one, yeah, and you too, right?
Yeah.
One of these, yeah, one item that I'd like to show you that might be useful to you when you're building your website. We talked about the fact that as we build websites, we need to be we want to be models for our students and help them become good users of technology. And I'm going to have to look for it here. This is another website. It's called Pixabay. And Pixabay is a place that has free images, videos, and things like that. So if you're looking for images to use on your website and you want them to be safe, and this way nobody can come and say, hey, you got something on there you shouldn't have, you might want to use this site. Here's just a new site. It works very easily. You can, and I do recommend, up on top, log in. Okay, sign up. It's free. It takes you about 30 seconds. They'll send you an email, and then you just click on it and you can log in. But it's pretty easy to use. Let me just show you because there's one little thing that you want to know about computers. Let's just do that. We want to look for computers. Here's a whole lot of them. Now, if you can see my screen, the top line is yellow. These lines, that one top line is what they call sponsored images, and those images are not free. They're from a place called Shutterstock, and you do have to pay for those. So we ignore those. But below that, you will find literally hundreds of pictures. You can go in and search for like just illustrations if you want, okay? And then just go down and find one that you want. Say if you want that picture. And if you want that picture, just click on it. And there's a free, notice two things. Here it says free download, but right above it, it says free for commercial use, no attribution required. The no attribution means that you do not have to put like a citing where you got it from. There may be a few pictures in here that ask you to do that, and usually they give it right in there. You can copy and paste the little link or, where I got it from type thing. Now, if you click on the free download, it allows you to download it in various forms. For the sake of computers, and Raj, please help me out here too. I usually, the 640 by 320, the smaller ones are usually very, good, big enough. So I would pick those.
Yeah,
okay?
Go small.
Yeah, yeah. If you go large and you have not signed up, they ask for a word. There'll be a word there that you have to type in before they allow you to download it. It's kind of a weird little thing, but it works too, and it's totally free. But it's that simple. So, for example, if I wanted the small one, I would just click on it, hit download, and if you'll notice down in, I don't know if you can see my lower left-hand corner there, the picture is downloaded. I can show it in my folder. There's the picture right there. I've downloaded it to my computer that quickly. It's a good little place. After it's done, they will ask you to support it. It says, buy us a cup of coffee. I think they want a little more than a cup of coffee. It is, they're asking for donations, so forth. And that's totally up to you. But you can just click that to click it off too. So that would go along with your New York Learns website. And with that, Raj, thank you very much. And why don't you take over?
Okay, let's see how far we can get. I don't know if I have all of the available time.
Oh dear, I'm sorry.
Much, so be ready, but I think
okay, I'm trying to find out where I can change presenters, and I've lost part of my thing here.
Sharing, right?
Share. No, I thought it said sharing, but it does. Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, there it is. Yes, it is. Okay.
Yeah, those are
Okay.
collapsing tonight by themselves.
Yeah.
Found on my side.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
There you go. I have you. We're seeing you. Yes, I am.
Okay. We're looking at just dovetailing off of what Gene's been talking about with all of this, converting our New York Learns web pages to the newer format. In a couple of weeks, and we've already got this person to agree. Her name is Judy Glasser. She's the district person in charge of communications. She puts out all the calendars and the My Schools inserts that you see delivered to your homes and so on. But she's also in charge of the web page. She's actually the web master, so to speak, a website director for the all the schools and the entire district. And that's why, as Gene mentioned early on about getting passwords, sometimes you get a system generated email that isn't the usual email that you get within the district, and that's why there's been some questions about it, about changing your password and so on. And as Gene said, it is legit, and her name is attached to it. So a lot of people have been contacting her with password information, and really, it's something that she she has better use of her time than that. So I think the change in the message itself, maybe redirecting those questions to either me or Gene to help you with passwords, locked out passwords, new passwords, and so on, so that you can get in and work on your school page. So that just a quick note there as well. Going back to the beginning, I'm going to the district homepage. I'm going to go into where we usually start with the weekly webinars. As we go to the staff channel, and we go down to the Teacher Resource Center, and then over on the left in the navigation panel, I think that's what its official name is, there are a couple of places you can go. Over here, we're talking about the webinars, and you are familiar with that because you're here, and this is where you register for the weekly webinars. And you notice the little plus and minus here. These are things that you can have on your web page as well. Technically, it's called hierarchy. It's nesting a page within a page, so you don't necessarily have a page growing way beyond the scroll bar that makes navigation just a little less obvious. But on the registration page and the blog, we've attached to each and every webinar so far this year the basic information about credit and so on, registration. Here we are tonight. And we've also created a Sunday night webinar blog. And because we go throughout most of the school year with the webinars, we're going to try to keep things collected in a easy to find place. But for the month of October, and we have a couple of two more webinars coming up this month, we've created a blog for each of that month and this month's webinar presentations. 2 weeks ago, we had as our guest panelist Rick Corella, who's the administrator for curriculum and instruction, and he had a very detailed presentation on all of the initiatives and things that affect instruction in your classroom, the different programs that the district is supporting and putting forth and so on. And we had an opportunity for him to explain that. Coincidentally, beyond the blog, we are also recording the webinars, and I'll show you in a moment where you can take a look at those. And we're going to keep Mr. Corella's blog up there, or his recording up there, because there's a lot of information there. So from time to time, if you want to double check something, if you were in attendance that night, maybe you were taking notes, you can go back and look at the recording, and you can fast forward to them through them as well. But you can also post a question, and under a blog, as is typical with most blogs, you can post a comment, ask a question. This is beyond the survey that you get at the end of the webinar. An hour after we close the webinar, you get a quick souvenir. You might have a souvenir if you keep the email, but a quick survey on that night's webinar where you can ask a follow-up question and so on. And we check those out once the survey is concluded and do some follow-up there as well. But getting more in tune with the times, with the blog, you can add a comment. And that's a feature that we've included, and you can include if you want to have a classroom blog. And with this page, I've added a link to an article that might convince you or give you some sound reasoning why you may want to have a blog in your classroom. And a lot of people have them. They use them for a number of topical investigations. It might be a story that the class is reading together and students can contribute to a discussion of the story and so on. But there's a lot of, I think, convincing argument in this link here as to why you might want to have a blog within your classroom. And you have ultimate control over it. With the comments, I'll show you the comments from 2 weeks ago. You can comment on a comment, and these are were posted right after the, well, it looks like the next day, right after the conclusion. And within your class, you can have the comment and you can have, again, a follow-up. So, and you can structure that and control that if insist that your students not simply echo another student's comment. You know, I like that character or something. You can make, you know, control it with a little more requirement on their part that they add to a comment, say something, make sure they say something different, and so on. But these are you know, powerful. They can be because your students are writing for a real audience that's out there. Notice that these are posted anonymously. You can structure the blog so that the students must include maybe just their first name, or if there's no conflict within your class, maybe a first and last initial, something of that nature, so that they're not identified. And I mentioned in a couple of weeks, Judy Glasser is going to talk to us about some things that touch on this topic, is student identity, what you can and should not perhaps show, identify student work, images, and so on your class web page and so on. She'll also talk about web design, good information, some tips, and, you know, style pointers, and so on. And I say in a couple of weeks, look for that announcement, and she'll be joining us. She'll also talk probably a great deal about copyright issues and so on. As we often get notes from Judy about a school page or something that we need to take note of. But you can attach a blog to your web page, which is, you know, I think really kind of a neat idea. For tonight and for each and every one of our webinars, we invite you to participate in the blog. And now this is a little different than the ones we've posted in the past. This is using, and I'm going to go into this a little bit and go into edit the page. I want to show you. Look at the, you're looking at the formatting. Okay, I'm going to take you backstage, and you can see what this looks like if you were to edit a page or want to include something like this on your class web page. This is tonight's blog entry. It's dated. You can include a date with the blog. You can say that the blog appears on a certain date and time and disappears or becomes inactive at a certain date and time. So you can structure it much like an assignment or a project or something. And also with this blog, I included a video, a brief introduction, and a video, and a place for you to comment on it. So you have all of these possibilities within a blog with links, handouts, so you can attach documents and so on. But I think the cool thing is you can include a video. Now, this is a link to a YouTube video. Now, you can probably view it, and you can certainly do it at home. Within school, I think most teachers have permission on their devices and in their profiles to view YouTube. And this is a very short little thing that explains what's going on with this. And I'm going to come back to that, but I want to go behind the scenes and show you how this is structured. And here is a page similar to what Gene was showing you a little while ago. This is a content app, which we pull over from all of the list of apps on the right. Now, depending on the size of your display and what version of software you're using, you may have 4 across instead of 3 across, and I can scroll down to see them all and so on. These are I'm working my way through many of these apps just so I can be familiar with them, and if I get a question or just say, oh, that's very useful. But what we have found is that the basic content app provides us with all of the basic tools that we need to put some information on our web page. And as Gene was saying, I'm not going to do this, but I'll just kind of show you, remind you again that when you pull an app, you're dragging it, and over on your page, when you start dragging, notice areas pop open with a kind of a very lightly green shaded rectangle. So if I drop it here, that's where that content app would appear. Same thing all up and down your page here. So looking back to the web page, let me see if we can look at, here we are real quick. That's what the published document looks like. And here again is behind the scenes. I've changed the layout a little bit. These are all blog posts that I have made inactive from September. They're still there, and I could activate them if I wanted to for some reason. And tonight, because I wanted a little more space to display all the information that is associated with tonight's blog entry, I brought the blog, instead of over here, into this slightly narrower right column over here, and so on. So now, as with all of the apps you get, when you drag it over, you have the little edit option. Depending on what the app is, like here, this plus symbol means I can add another blog or a posting within what I've created here. But basically, I want to go into the edit mode here, show you what that looks like. So here we are, Sunday night webinar, October 15th, 2017. I want to edit that. And notice here is the post date, that's today. And I mentioned you can change this. You can have this, a blog, appear on any date in the calendar range. And you can have it disappear on a date and time and so on. And then down below, where there's the information I want to include associated with the blog, and let's say it might be an assignment or something, is the little text area. It's a little smaller than the basic content app, but all of the tools are pretty much here for you to add a graphic, an image, or you can, which I did down below, you can add enhance the text with the bolding and so on. Then if I continue to scroll, you add the video. And what I did when I added the video here, I just simply put in the URL for that YouTube video that includes that little short video explanation of what SAMR or SAMR is all about. And it's about the degree to which you have integrated technology into your classroom, and it's a little bit of kind of a hierarchy thing. It says, what level are you? And I put in some tags and so on. Then I just save it. And as Gene said, you go back out here. Here's in the upper left-hand corner, the X. And then above, well, it will be your page. Here is Teacher Resource Center is the name of the page that we're working on. You can view the website, which is right here. So I invite you, a couple of things. Gene and I are toying with some ideas, survey and so on, to participate in this blog. Watch this short video, and the universal controls are here. If you play it, it will just go through a nice little, it's a Powtoons. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Powtoons. It's a free online way to create some basic informational slides. I'll get it started just so you'll remind me when you click on it, and it opens up so that it's much more viewable, obviously, than it is. And you're not going to hear it, but this is the style of video. You've probably seen these. A little bit of explanation, very clever, and it just gets out the essential information for the topic of whatever it happens to be. And then I also included below it the link out to YouTube. I embedded the video, and then here is the link. And then when you've watched it, I'm asking you to respond where you might be on the scale once it takes you through. What level are you at? The substitution level, etc. For technology integration in your classroom. And all you have to do is click on the word comments, and you will be greeted with a dialog box to write your comment and submit it. If you're signed in, your name will appear here, but it will not display your email address when it's actually posted and so on. So again, this is something that I think you can get some really good use out of in your classroom. And just by using the blog, you're going to be climbing up the scale. This looks like down the scale, but you're really up the scale for your technology integration, because you will be augmenting at the very least, if not even modifying, or perhaps even getting to the highest level of redefinition for your blog. I want to show you again. I'm going to go back to my page. I don't know if I can get there, how quickly I can get there. Let's see. There I am. This is my page, and Gene pointed out, and I think you mentioned it, Gene, that both Gene and I appear on every school's teacher web pages directory. So you can get to our pages real quick. You can get a hold of us real quick. And what we do often is put out some examples of things that are easily doable on your part if you want to participate and try some of these things that we're doing. But notice here is a link to my page. And if you go to any school in the district, you'll find links to my page, Gene's page, and our other two partners in the temp group, Marie Bieksa and Shirley Teeter. She is also out there. And they all have resources of their own on their individual pages. What I want to show you back here is a couple of other things. I put these two videos up here. Actually, this is one video. This has been around for a while. It also includes a blog. This video goes back about 7 or 8 or maybe 9 years. It's called Did You Know? And I invite you to go to my page, look at Did You Know, and watch the video. It takes us through a real quick history of the current state of the internet, information, and so on, and how it may be affecting the world we live in, and certainly the world that your students live in and will eventually participate in career-wise, job-wise, and so on. And as Gene mentioned also, I attributed this from, it's a YouTube, but I took the attribution here just to be on the safe side because it is on my website, and then respond to the blog here. Watch the video. It's not very long, but think about it, what it's saying. This is a very real world that our students and we now live in, and it's a way of putting video very quickly and accessibly on your web page so that students can go right to your web page. In fact, you can make your web page the default website for your classroom if you want to, and use that to help manage some instruction. So, and this is called Did You Know? And it's on a website called, I make sure I say this carefully, Shift Happens. It's actually, this is a Wikipedia entry that explains the whole concept here. And another thing that just, well, yesterday actually, Gene, I don't know if you saw this email. Yesterday, there was a 2-hour hackathon sponsored by Microsoft. And this is at least the second, perhaps even the third hackathon. This was yesterday. Yes, it was Saturday. And it was a 2-hour live get together of a number of resources and a number of topics from participants, and people were participating from all over the world. And it's got an interesting introduction. If you have 2 hours to kill 2 hours. There's a whole lot of resources, and this is something that they repeat throughout the calendar year. I last participated in one in I forget the date, in June, but it was in conjunction with the National ISTE conference, the International Society for Technology and Education conference that has like 20,000 participants from everywhere. And during that conference, they were hosting a hackathon. But this video here, the first couple minutes of it, he introduces, and the presenter is a person by the name of Alan November. And I've often referred to him and his resources and what he's all about in the classroom. And I think you would be interested and perhaps even fascinated by some of the things that he's encountered in working with schools and classrooms from everywhere, from Canada to Australia to everywhere in the world. So he's got quite a reputation and is an authority and has some fresh views on a lot of this. So I invite you, again, just take a couple minutes and see what it's all about. But this is a video, again, that I embedded on my web page. I just clipped a little logo from the email I got, and they archive these out there if you're interested in this kind of a discussion, or just, this is how we keep pace with what's going on and the possibilities with all of this. And another reason I did it was because it is a Microsoft sponsored entity program, because it dovetails into using Office 365 and OneNote in the classroom. And I'm going to bring up my very busy OneNote classroom, and it looks like it may still be syncing. I clip resources all of the time. If you're not into Office 365, you may be, or you're not into OneNote, which we strongly encourage you to explore. It's a way of storing stuff, finding things that you like. I have, each of these is like a file drawer, a folder, if you will, and in each folder you can have a page, and all of these are pages. I have a folder called SAMR, and I also have, and if you want, get a hold of me, I'll share this out with you. This is a very simple explanation of this whole SAMR tech integration concept that I've been seeing a lot about. It just takes the various options you have in purchasing something at a Starbucks and likens it to someplace on that SAMR scale, and I put the link in here so I can share that out with you if you're at all interested in that. So Gene, there's a whole lot of stuff here, and it's been backloading because of the number of panelists we've had over the last couple of weeks. There's a whole lot of stuff I just haven't been able to get to, as you have, like I say, with your flip boards and so on. But I invite you to explore Gene's webpage, my webpage. Take a look at, I cover a lot of things here by way of example. And Gene mentioned Flipboard. Flipboard is an elaborate social bookmarking site that we have discovered and make great use of for collecting resources, sharing resources, and so on. And here are just a couple of mine for you to take a look at as well. Gene, I don't know, I see a question over here.
I believe.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
correct.
okay.
Yeah. It's take care.
I sent out a little back channel note when you were.
Yes, I saw
that.
that. Yes.
Okay. So I'd like to, Gene, if you open it up and if you have any questions or any you want to add to what we're talking about.
No, boy, I mean, there is so much we could talk about. There's so many things. I mean, there's, like I say, we keep saying that you're on your keywords there, Twitter for professional development, and that seemed the last two words, that professional development idea, whether it's technological, whether it's classroom, whether it's subject matter oriented, we need to keep doing that. We do have a site on teacher technology, teacher resources for teachers that is called Informal Professional Development materials, and been adding some things to that just recently. So there's
which is really a flipboard. It's a
flipboard. Yes, it is a flipboard.
Yeah. And Gene and I, and the interesting thing about a flipboard, if whether you know it or not, you can share the flipboard. You can
say, okay, so Roger and I can both add to it and work on it, collaborate, not collate, collaborate. Yeah, and there are a lot of great things that we run into. There's just so much we run into each week. I mean, that would like to share, and I know, boy, that time element just isn't quite there. If it were there, I mean, we could do so much more. So, other than that, in about 1 hour from now, you are going to get a thank you. I don't know, Roger, you're going to make another and we do want you to please open that thank you note, because inside is a link to a survey, very short survey. Just lets us know, that you were here and what you thought of it. If there are any questions about New York Learns, about your school teacher websites, Blackboard websites, and again, transferring them from New York Learns to Blackboard, let us know. We'd be glad to help. We gave you a quick run through tonight. The Raj will be putting up this video of this webinar. So if you say, hey, there was something in there I remember, I remember seeing, but I don't remember, you could probably get online and review the materials. So
this is on this just while it's just sitting here in front of me on this page, Gene. Underneath our registration page, the webinar recordings for September are here with the associated blog, and as we accumulate them, here we are for October. So you're welcome certainly to go and view or review those as well. And then lastly, we're going to end probably a minute or two early here tonight. Strongly encourage you to take a look at this blog. Respond to it. Look, see if participating in it doesn't give you some ideas on how you might find some use for it in your classroom as well. But watch the little video, comment on it, and or go back and do the one on did you know on my page and so on. But
Yeah.
I'd like to see more people using blogs.
Yeah, that video is extreme. It's like 1 minute and 20 seconds, but it's really interesting.
This,
yeah, it's only about 1 minute and 20 seconds. So that and boy, nice, thoughtful, get you thinking. There's not not a lot of heavy thought in there, but it's got some good ideas that get you thinking, and you can maybe do a little evaluation of where you are.
Absolutely.
And with that, I think rather than throw in something so quickly that we don't have time to explain it, other than saying again, our websites are there. There is so much there. I wish we could share it. If you have if you know of a teacher of special ed, I ran across an article today I would really like to have shown. It's in the Flipboard for September and October on my webpage that they might find very, very interesting. From what I saw of it, I am not a special ed teacher, but I thought it was a great article. So if you have anybody that might like that, be sure to tell them about it. And with that, Raj, is there anything else?
No, I'd like to invite everyone to join us again next Sunday night. And we look forward to your comments and your responses in the survey. And with that, thanks for attending and have a great week.
Again, have a great week, everybody, and hope to see you next Sunday.